Welcome to Beyond Belief Paranormal Stories, the podcast that deep dives into the world of the paranormal, the occult, and the unexplained, with your hosts, Kayla and Melissa.
Welcome back, everybody. We are Beyond Belief Paranormal Stories, and today we'll be talking about the movie The Nun.
Yeah, so it was pretty scary. Obviously I haven't seen most of them, so I find them all really scary.
There was a few jump scares. I have to admit, it got me a little bit.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly when. I tried when I was editing to go through and figure out where they were, but I didn't find them. But I know there's a couple, so if you know them, put them in the little, description box down below so we can check them out later.
Also, movies up on Patreon, so if you want to watch our watch along, head there.
It is. The movies are always up the week before. So, they went up. How do I explain this? Because this is going out a week behind us watching the movie. So, we watch the movie, it goes up on Patreon, and then a week later, our podcast about it goes out. So, it's been out for about a week. So,
They get posted every
Thursday usually. This one was a little bit late because we weren't really feeling the greatest, but so it went up this morning, this afternoon. But normally it's Thursdays, and then the podcast is every Friday. Mm-hmm. Is the plan. Speaking of which, I need to put the other one up, the next one up, the previous one up. Just popped into my head. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
when we were doing our investigation or research into the actual story, we kind of found out that it's not really based on a true story or B Ed and Lorraine Warren case. It's just basically tied into that universe from essentially the very beginning where you see them talk about her vision.
I had a vision in Amityville. I had a premonition of your death. We have both seen the same inhuman spirit.
Mom, who's that?
The demon in your painting is real.
And then the very end where you find out about Frenchie.
An exorcism can be very dangerous, not only for the victim, but for anyone in the room.
Take Maurice Tiero. His friends called him Frenchie.
He was a French-Canadian farmer, nothing more than a third-grade education. Yet after he was possessed, he spoke some of the best Latin I'd ever heard.
And like that, an upside-down cross started to appear from within his body.
Which brings me to the 3 stages of demonic activity. Infestation, oppression, and possession.
yeah, so there actually isn't a haunted nun.
So there isn't, but apparently the nun character, according to the directors, is actually portrayed from the an entity that was actually haunting Lorraine. Mm-hmm. So they to us sort of she said it was a cloaked figure and stuff. I think I have the exact quote here somewhere. Just give me a second. So she described the entity as a swirling tornado vortex with a hooded figure. So very loosely put together with that kind of thing. But the one thing I did find kind of interesting is that apparently, I don't know if you know this, but the trailer for The Nun was banned on YouTube for being too scary.
Yes, about the jump scares and people having to turn down the volume.
Yeah, but I thought that was just a standard scary movie.
I'm
not sure exactly what the reasoning was, what exactly 100% their reasoning was, because I feel every scary movie has that, scariness where, you're gonna have the jump scares and stuff, and it being loud.
I'm more surprised that they continued with the film. If the trailers were banned for people
Well, I
to
think
watch
by
it.
that point it was too late, right? Like, once a trailer comes out, generally speaking, the movie is probably already done. Like,
I mean, they didn't have to air it though. That's what I'm saying.
true. However, that's millions of dollars down the tube, and
It-
then they
yeah.
came out with a second one.
So
So clearly, like, it obviously, like, I think if anything, YouTube banning the trailer increased, like, popularity.
now
Because people
really
are like, oh my God, I
curious.
got to see what this movie's about because
Yeah.
it's like everything, like, it got banned. So now I got to go watch it. I think that's what it did. And I almost wonder, I don't know if they would be able to do this. Like, if it could be like a publicity stunt.
Maybe.
Because, like, I don't think, like, the movie was scary, yes, but I don't think it was that scary. Like, I didn't have nightmares or anything like that. Like, the movie was freaky and, like, had a lot of jump scares, but, like, there was nothing that was, like, absolutely terrifying, like, actually terrifying in it.
Yeah.
So, like, if anything, I think it might have been more of a publicity stunt than anything. But, like, I mean, if you watch the watch along, like, you'll see I freaked out a bunch. There was
no point where we needed to like close our eyes or turn off the movie or
Yeah, or
anything
pause
like that.
it
Like
or
it wasn't
anything-
that
yeah.
scary to the point where we needed to turn it off.
yeah, like, it wasn't, yeah, or it wasn't like, oh, I can't watch this because, you know, it was causing me any, like, distress, I guess, which, yeah, it just was like a scary movie. Like, there was nothing too abnormal about it, like,
Yeah.
and stuff, like, unless the only other thing I was thinking is if, like, the fact that it was like a nun, if, like, somehow, like, the Catholic Church got involved and wanted
maybe.
it banned because of that reason. I don't know, but I don't know if YouTube would, like, ban something for that reason. Like, I'm not sure. I doubt it, but that was the only thing I could see them not really, like, liking the idea of that, because that's basically suggesting that, like, a person who, like, a nun who is supposed to be, like,
Word of God or
yeah, like, a
about
person
God.
like who is, like, you know, working for God and, like, devoting their life to God can be corrupted to that extent by a demon, which, yeah. So from what the directors of the actual, like, movie said is, during an interview they explained that the nun character was inspired by a spectral entity that Lorraine Warren claimed had haunted her in her home. But it was like, there's several different, like, kind of, what's the word, like, accounts on what it actually is based on. But this one article I was reading said that it was actually based on a different work of fiction called The Name of the Rose, which was a Sean Connery movie from, like, 1986, which is based on a book by an Italian author, and I am so sorry, I'm going to butcher this name, Umberto Eco, of, like, the same name, The Name of the Rose. And it's basically, in that movie, a friar, William Baskerville, Baskerville, and his apprentice travel to an abbey to investigate a mysterious death of a famous monk. And then it says the last person who talked to the monk is found dead in a vat of pig blood.
That's gross.
And the inhabitants of the monastery feel the fear that the devil is behind the murders. But then apparently, like, that's where, like, the two movies kind of, like, diverge, because like, the nun is more about, like, the actual paranormal, whereas, spoiler alert, for anyone wanting to watch The Name of the Rose, it's more about, like, the investigation and how, you know, not everything is devil-like when you have people, you know, who could be devil, like, you know, evil people, I guess, and stuff. So whereas I think that was actually an actual person versus this being an actual, like, nun. But yeah,
So they're kind of like combining two different movies into like one almost.
Yeah, like, kind of. But then I read another one that said, if I just scroll up, that the Nun movie may also be part of a, maybe based on and inspired of a tragic events that happened in real life in 2005, where a 23-year-old nun at a Roman Orthodox monastery in Tanicu, Romania, named, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this name. I'm so sorry. Marcia Irina Cornisi was killed by a priest and other nuns during an attempted exorcism. Apparently, it was said that she was tied to a cross, gagged, and starved for 3 days. That resulted in her death.
That's mortifying almost.
Yeah, and apparently as a result, the priests who performed the exorcism along with the 4 nuns all faced charges and were sentenced to several years in prison. And like, I don't know what their reasoning for thinking she was possessed, but like, I guess like when this movie came out, when this movie was like from the 50s, I feel like even back then, I don't know if that kind of thing would be like okay or not. Like, I still think that would be kind of like frowned upon, like, or whatnot.
Considering you're basically chaining somebody up and gagging them, like that's still a crime.
But like back then, I think it would have been more not accepted, but more. Like, they might have been more lenient about it, but like nowadays, like you can't do that anymore. Like, even though, okay, so that was still like what, like 18 years ago? Because 2005, it's 2023, so almost 18 years ago. So like it's still a while ago, but like it's still not something that you can like generally like just get away with doing and stuff. But yeah, it's like that's awful that they would even like do something like that. Like, I'm not sure why, like I don't know the story behind like why they thought she was possessed, but like I still don't think that that's an appropriate like
way of going about it.
Yeah, and by the sounds of it, like obviously like there was, I mean, they were charged, so like they killed somebody essentially. Like, they should not. Like, that's unacceptable. And like I feel like, I don't know if that nun had family or whatever, but could you imagine like being that poor nun's family, like,
and then hearing about it after?
Like, yeah, like regardless of like what they believe,
even if she wasn't a nun, like,
yeah, anybody, like I just don't.
Yeah.
Even like, yeah. It just sounds like a very
nobody should be going out that way regardless.
Well, like, no, and especially like when you figure it was done by priests and other nuns. Like, that's not somebody that you would expect to be doing such heinous things. Like,
I get that they probably thought that they were doing a good thing.
Yeah, they thought they were doing the right thing,
trying to help her, but it ended up going as far as killing someone, which, you know.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm trying to, like, in my brain, I'm trying to, like, rationalize, like, oh, well, they thought she was a demon, but even then, I still don't understand the whole doing that to somebody. Like, even during, like, Amityville, for example, when they had, like, her, like, chained up to, like, not even chained up, but, like, tied up to the chair and stuff, like, that's still, like, I was like, that's somebody's mom. Like, that's their mom.
That was in The Conjuring.
Was that in The Conjuring?
Yeah, there was no tied up in the Amity.
Jesus, I have too many movies now. But yeah, no, The Conjuring, yes. The mom. When the mom was tied up, that was very, like, even though during the movie we knew she was legitimately possessed, I still, like, I don't know if that happened in, like, I think it did sort of happen in real life based on, like, what we, like, the research we did, that they did have, like, during a seance, like, things went bad. She apparently became possessed and, like, they tied her up and had to get her, like, unpossessed, I guess, or whatever. But, like, regardless, the whole time I'm sitting there going, like, oh my God, like, that's those kids' mom. Like, that's somebody's mom. That's somebody's sister. That's somebody's, like, and, like, that's what I think it's, like, watching these movies, it's hard to realize that if that actually happened in real life, like, that is still a human being's body, regardless, and a human being inside, regardless of whatever else may or may not be inside. Like, and a human can't survive without food or water.
Starving her for 3 days, you're killing the human inside them instead of the demon.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know. I just don't agree with any of that. But that's just, I don't know. Like, it's like a weird kind of, like, line, I guess, to walk as somebody who may have to deal with, like, exorcisms and stuff.
Let's just hope that nowadays people take exorcisms a little bit more
cautiously,
seriously, and carefully, and not the way that they did it back then.
Yeah, because, like, no. Some of the, like, I mean, some of the ways that they, I guess, did it in the past was not good. And clearly, even the more recent past and stuff. Yeah.
But hopefully people are learning from it and things are better. But anyways,
moving along. Yeah. So the actual like, whatchamacallit, the Abbey of St. Carta is a real place, but it is not the place that you see in the movies either. Like, it wasn't filmed there. It doesn't even look anything like that. In fact, right now it's, like, I think in ruins.
Yeah, it is.
I know there was, like, not nuns, oh my gosh, monks that went, like, that were living there or something. And I guess they didn't really have, like, good food and stuff. So, like, they would starve. And, like, yeah, so they didn't have good food. They were said, like, there was, like, rumors that they had to fast and that they only ate cheese and some boiled beech leaves, whatever I don't know.
No idea what that is.
Like, I mean, they're beech leaves. Like,
is it like leaves off a?
No, like a tree, a beech tree. Like, you know, the white trees, the ones that I don't know if they have them here, but, like, back in Ontario, they used to see the white trees that you could peel.
Birch.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe that's not what it is. I don't know what a beech tree is. Yeah, because
I've never heard of
maybe it is a birch tree. I don't know, but apparently it's beech leaves. Whatever. I don't know what beech leaves are. Okay, maybe
we're gonna have to look that up and find out.
I thought it was beech. Like, I thought that was like a birch tree. I'm pretty sure are the ones you can peel like strips off of and write on, like, paper. Yeah, those. That's not what this is. Anyways, beech leaves, whatever the frick that is. And then they slept all in one room on hay.
That's gotta be so uncomfortable.
And so apparently, due to the state, like, of their life, monks wouldn't survive very long, so they would die between the age of, like, 35 and 40. So on this abbey, the St. Carta Abbey, they have, like, graves, like, all their graves out front. Maybe I'll place a picture here somewhere so you guys can kind of see. And so, like, all of the like, graves are kind of out front, and, like, despite the fact that it's in ruins, I still think that it's kept, like, the upkeep is being done on it, because the pictures I've seen even recently of, like, tourists traveling there's flowers.
If it is a tourist attraction, it will be upkept. And
so, like, there's flowers, and, like, the graves are all very, like, pristine and, like, nice and, like, flowered and everything. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of graves there, and then according to some people, it's haunted. And that there's in the cellar, apparently there's, like, a chair that moves occasionally, and the walls vibrate. And there was apparently, they found 2 unmarked graves in the cellar during, like, recent excavations that they don't know who the remains belong to, because they were from 2 men who were taller than 6'5", and apparently back then, like, being that tall was very peculiar because back then people were much shorter.
They were how tall?
6'5".
Oh, I can kind of see. Yeah, 6'5" is quite tall.
Mm-hmm. So they think that it was like, that they had these like I guess these men were sent to the abbey to have them removed from the public eye so that people didn't like ostracize them and stuff. But apparently, since their bodies have been found, more paranormal events have been occurring. And yeah, so this is when the walls started vibrating, and then apparently there's like poltergeist activity with objects being flung across the room.
So are people thinking it's the monks that are doing it, or
I think they're thinking that it's the two men.
The two men that...
Because they said once since the bodies have been found.
Yeah.
Of those, what they think were two men who were, well, they know they're two men that were at least 6.5 feet. So, like, I guess that's kind of what they're thinking. But, yeah, so the chairs are being dragged across the floor and that kind of stuff. But, like, there's no legit, like, haunted nun there, but there's hauntings apparently, but not from anything like sinister from what they can gather, because like I don't think anybody's being hurt or any like demonic stuff is happening there and stuff. But apparently the actual film was the like scenes of the monastery were filmed at Romania's Corvin Castle, which was built around the same time as the Carta Monastery. So like there's actually no monastery that looks anything like that and stuff, but it's kind of cool that instead of like doing a fake set, they actually like filmed those scenes in a place that was actually built around the same time so that it's like more authentic and stuff. But
I remember even like the one in the movie, like it looked old and kind of creepy and stuff like that too.
Very
so
creepy. It was very creepy.
Especially the one hallway
With all the
crosses. Like I get, you're.
I think that was to try and keep whatever was inside that door from getting out, but I don't think it worked.
I get that, but like just all of them.
Yeah.
Completely down the hallway was just like it was. Creepy.
I think we literally
scene.
said that, like, oh, this is a nice. Oh, never mind. We went
That's
go
a
there.
creepy hallway.
Like that hallway is even creepier than we thought. Like, old timey places always give me the creeps. Oh fuck.
I still think it'd be very interesting to go and see though. Not this room because that's creepy shit. But like,
why? Why is there so many crosses? Like, yeah. But apparently they said that the whole. By they, I mean the filmmakers said that the nun was basically based on the person that like spectral entity that was haunting Lorraine and based on like the demon Valak, which is derived from like mythology. So like there was no like truth to it. They just picked a demon from like some kind of mythology and was like, oh, let's just make it this one that's haunting this nun or that looks like a nun or whatever, is making people think that it's a nun. Yeah. And then they kind of came up with the story.
And they did a really good job with the movie.
They did. It was creepy. It was scary. But like, I'm kind of like, okay, this is kind of weird for me to say, but like, I'm kind of almost glad that it's not based on like a legit true story. Yeah. Because even partially would be very creepy because like I'm not Catholic. Like I went to church like rarely when I was a kid. But like the whole throughout all of I guess like pop culture and movies and everything, like the one place that anything evil cannot get you is a church. Yeah. And that was always everybody's safe haven. So if my movie / childhood belief of I can go to a church if the world is overrun by like demons or something isn't legit, then I don't know. It just is scary.
There's
to me.
nowhere
Like,
to go.
Yeah, like it's just like that's my mindset is like, oh, go to a church if you're like in danger of like demons or whatever. But like if the demon is in the church, where do you go? Where do you hide?
Exactly.
Where do you like? I don't know. That was kind of, I don't know, set my like whole perception of like pop culture movies like kind of on its head, and I was like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I am Catholic. Like
Yeah.
I'm baptized Catholic, and to me, even that is like, if that were real.
Mhm.
Again, like I don't practice my religion, but if
Yeah.
I did, I'd be like, yeah, same thing. Like where would be the safest place? Because
like how?
obviously that can't, like if that happens like in the church, like, and that's supposed to be the most sacred place where
Yeah.
things that bad can't get in.
Like they shouldn't be able to walk on holy land.
Yeah, exactly.
Like without, if holy water is supposed to work on them, then holy land should be even worse.
So I'm just saying, good job on
Yeah.
the filmmaking. I'm really excited to see what happens in The Nun 2,
Yeah.
which is coming.
I haven't seen that. Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't, because I'm like, you haven't seen the first one, right?
No.
Which we found out kind of last minute because you thought that you
So,
had saw
I
it.
thought I'd seen it, and then I was going through some of the clips of it, and it didn't look familiar. And maybe it was something that I'd seen
like years ago, and you just forgot.
like when it first came out. But even then, like nothing kind of like looked familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then watching the movie, I definitely didn't remember it. So, it was quite enjoyable for the first time.
Yeah, there was a couple times that I for sure jumped. There was a lot. I think so. Like with The Conjuring and like Amityville, I feel like we were more quiet during the movie, and I felt like this time we were talking more because more things were happening that were creepier, and we were like reacting to them because like we were like commenting on this or that, and like the creepy hallway or like, and then like the total like. Spoiler, guys, if you haven't seen the entire movie, like, just stop now. Stop now.
I think a lot of what we said were, don't go in there. Oh, don't go in there.
Don't go in there. Nope.
Nope.
You're dead.
Yep.
That was when you're dead. And
Yeah.
then you're like, yep, I was right. She's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I think the whole like ending, which wasn't even part of the movie per se, it was like the end part of the movie. Was it the end of the movie when we found out about Frenchie, or was that like post credits?
No, right at like pretty much right at the end.
And like that was like the biggest mind fuck.
So that's like almost like the opening of The Conjuring when they're talking about talking to the students in the classroom. That's that scene.
But like, so the way that we like watched it, we just watched it on our own. Like, I think we were doing like chronological how they came out.
Yeah.
Was originally how we were doing it. And then we found a post that said, oh, no, you have to watch it this way. So that's when we switched things up and we're like, okay, I guess we got to watch. Like, we had already watched The Conjuring. And then we were going to watch like, I think it was going to be like Annabelle next.
So the chronicle order is what we're doing now.
No, like how they came out.
We were doing by year.
Yeah.
And then we realized that
there's a way to do it chronically, how time-wise, how it happened.
So we jumped the gun with The Conjuring, but we kind of like set ourselves back to starting with
the Nun.
The Nun, and then it'll be Annabelle.
And then
the Nun 2. And then so on.
It's Annabelle Creation though, not Annabelle the original. But like seeing that beginning part of The Conjuring, like, and then seeing it at the end, I think I kind of commented to you that like I almost wonder if doing it this way was actually better because we had more context.
I think, for the first one, because at first when we watched The Conjuring, we didn't even put two and two about like who Frenchie was or who they were talking about. But I think like at the end of The Nun,
when it brought us back, we were like, oh my God, that's who they're talking about. Whereas if we had have done it the other way though, we would have seen the part about Frenchie
and it just would have been
like, oh my God, Frenchie. And then when we watched The Conjuring, it would have just been a reminder of, oh, Frenchie.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. So I feel like doing it this way almost like
it was a big surprise for us at the end.
Set us up as like, oh, that's who they were talking about. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we didn't know.
Also, we were really sad because we both really liked Frenchie. And then we found out that he was possessed in the end and did die.
Yeah.
Which was really sad.
Yeah.
So.
And like I was really, I mean, I can't really say that. I don't know why I was going to say that because I was like, she's a nun. She can't. I was like, I was hoping they were going to get together. But like.
By the end, yeah, kind of by like the end of it, they read her.
Yeah, she was a
whatever
nun.
they're called.
So she can't, her vows.
Yeah, her vows.
I guess. But yeah, like, so she can't date or anything like that. But
yeah.
Like I was kind of, I don't know why I forgot about that aspect of it. And I was like, oh, they're so cute together. But then
in a way, yes, he was also kind of like, he seemed like he was a little bit of a player too, though.
Yeah, but like, he's in like Romania.
But then he was also French Canadian, so that totally makes sense. So,
I mean,
if anybody knows French Canadians, you'd understand that.
I guess. If you say so. But yeah, so I don't know. I just like, I kind of wondered like how that would be. Like it's something that you can't go back and you can't rewatch it for the first time. But I kind of was like, would it have been as interesting seeing it that way? So if anybody who's watching has seen, like, who saw like The Nun first and then saw The Conjuring, was it as big of a shock for you, or was it just kind of like, oh yeah, Frenchie, aw?
I feel like kind of, because like in the one movie, like in The Nun at the end, it only shows him rubbing his neck with the cross, right? It doesn't show you anything else about what happened until the very, very end.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it was still kind of a shock at the end of the movie regardless.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what I mean is, like, so you watch The Nun, and then you see that clip, and you have I guess you still have the shock thing, but it's not like that's who they're talking about.
Yeah, you kind of
just
already
like
knew.
That's what happens to him. Boo.
I think, and this is just my personal opinion, I think that in The Nun, they shouldn't have put that clip.
Yeah.
I think they should have kept it for The Conjuring, because then those who are watching The Conjuring would have had the same reaction we would have, knowing that was Frenchie.
Yeah, but then if you haven't seen it, like we didn't, we wouldn't know. We have no context to that. And even after hearing Frenchie, I didn't put two and two together, and I don't think either did you until they played that clip again.
Yeah, but the thing is, I guess, yeah.
So,
but had I watched The Nun first, though, we might have.
True, but how many times do you wait for a bunch of movies in a universe to come out to watch them in the chronologically, like, how they happen in the universe type thing, right? Like, most of the time people go, oh, there's a new movie out, let's go watch it. And they go and they see it, right? So The Conjuring came out first.
Yeah.
And then The Nun came out like 2 years later. So, like, you would have saw it 2 years ago, and then you would have saw this movie, and it would have been like, well, I don't fucking remember that. Like, we watched it like a week apart. We still didn't, like, connect the dots.
People who might be a little bit smarter.
Maybe.
Because our brains don't work the way others do. But, like,
fair.
We did watch The Conjuring, and they did show the clip of Frenchie, and we didn't even go.
We didn't.
Even he said in The Nun his name was Frenchie, and we're like, oh, yeah, Frenchie. Like,
but I didn't
connect the two.
Like, we didn't, because I don't remember, like, I don't think I could really, like, I didn't hear his friends, like, they said his friends call him Frenchie.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't catch the first part, and I wasn't paying enough attention to, like, what specifically he was saying.
We also did look a little bit different, because in The Conjuring his hair was a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And as in, like, in The Nun it was,
short.
And so.
And, like, I don't know, I don't think we, like, when he said his name was Frenchie, I didn't put that together, because, again, it was his friends call him Frenchie. And then when we found out his real name, I still didn't put it together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, until they showed that clip. And then I was like, oh my God, that's Frenchie. Like, that's who they were talking about at the very beginning of the movie. And then I was like, oh, Frenchie.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, so I don't know. Like, I feel like, had they have not put that in, that would have been totally missed. So, like, I see why they put it in. But if the Nun had to come out first, like into the theaters first, they had that, and then The Conjuring came out, might have been a little different.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure The Conjuring came out in like 2014 or 2016. Can't remember.
Whatever year.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. But yeah, and then it was like 2018 or 2019 when The Nun came out, I think.
But, I mean, regardless on how you watch it, I'm glad we watched it the way we did. Because it was a big shock for us at the end of The Nun. So
I was like, what? So, and then, yeah, the next movie is Annabelle Creations, which is going to be interesting.
we both hate dolls.
We do.
So, I mean, I don't know if I've seen one of the Annabelle movies. I'm not sure which one it is, so I'll let you know when we watch it. But
I haven't seen any of them.
I hate dolls. I hate anything to do with haunted dolls or just dolls in general. So this is going to be a not so fun movie to watch, but also probably fun for you guys because you guys get to see our reactions to it. So
I am not. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to it because I have a very big fear of dolls because of Chucky.
So this is the type of movie that you need to have a bowl of popcorn to watch with?
Why? It's going to end up all over the place.
That's the point.
No.
Throw your popcorn.
No, I don't want to clean that up. Like, if I was at the theater, maybe, but I'm not doing it to clean it up myself. Like, nope, not happening, but...
Oh. But yeah, I'm excited, but not excited. I'm excited to watch the movie, yes, but I'm not excited for all, what's around the corner of, jump scares and whatnot that are in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess, I hope, my, anxiety, makes myself, what the... I hope I can make it through the movie with my anxiety.
You should wear your heart rate monitor for that, and we can post it.
I mean, I have to find it. I don't know where my watch is. I have my Fitbit, but it doesn't hook up to anything.
So if we can find it,
I will try to find it. I will do my best to find it. But all right. So, is there anything else you want to add, or we?
Not really. We knew that this one was going to be a short podcast.
Yeah, because
mostly just because we do know The Nun is based not on a true story, so there wasn't much of research to do.
Well, we did, but again, there's not much to say when there isn't an investigation or anything like that. Really, I mean, we talked about the historical
landmarks and
fact that there were monks there and they're buried there. They didn't have the greatest life because they
was
had to
that other movie that you said it was based on, The Rose or something?
The Name of the Rose.
We could also maybe do a movie night of that and do a
watch along
to it.
Yeah, we could. It's an older movie, really old, before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely before you were born.
Oh yeah, I mean we're only 3 years apart.
Well, that's a big difference. Okay.
I would also like to do another game night.
Mm-hmm. You need to play Conrad Stevens' Paranormal.
I don't want to play alone.
Private Investigator. You have to. It's a single player game.
Ew.
I can be
Ew.
semi there for moral support, but you have to play by yourself.
We should also play some Demonology.
Oh yeah, Demonologist. They have a bunch of new stuff, but yeah, no, we can.
I don't like the jump scares in that. That's one you're gonna get some reactions to.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely so scary that my husband won't play it.
He doesn't like it.
No.
He's also not one for
He
jump
does
scares.
not like it. It's very scary.
So,
It's, like, but it's weird because, like, if we're playing demonologist together, we could be side by side, and like I'll see something that she doesn't see, or I'll hear something that she doesn't hear.
because our jump scares are different.
So it's like very much a psychological horror because it screws with your brain and makes you think that things are happening when they're not happening. So yeah, that's fun.
But yeah, I mean, until next time.
Yeah. Make sure you like and subscribe and check out our Patreon. And yeah, so until next time, whether you're a skeptic or a believer, may the unexplained moments in your life be both thrilling and mysterious. Stay tuned for more of paranormal stuff on our next episode.
Goodbye.
Bye.